Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Bread Podcast. This is Gaby, and today we're going to be talking about the difference between being lonely and being alone. Our guest with us here today is Kim, and he's going to be talking a little bit more about this topic. Hi, Kim.
Hi guys, this is Kim. Here we go again. Alright, so today we want to talk about being alone, but definitely not lonely. I think it has something to do with the social stigma we have, especially in Asia, that we got so far. That people tend to associate the two together.
How can you be alone but not lonely?
Well, then let's ask the definition. What is being lonely is in anyway? How do you get there? Why do you feel lonely?
For you, what does being lonely mean?
Being lonely is, I think, is disconnecting between yourself or other. I mean, with myself, in a sense that if I end up doing something I don't like, with myself, I will feel lonely. I feel like, wow, I suffer alone, you know. But if I'm in a situation full of people I don't feel connected to, I still feel lonely. So even I'm not alone, why I'm still lonely then?
So, how can you make the most of being alone?
I think mainly just imagine yourself as your own best friend. Let's say I talk to myself, all right, Kim, what do you want to do today? That's the best part, you know, especially when you're traveling. It just gives you so much freedom just to do, okay, Kim want to go here, okay, Kim want to stay here, okay, Kim want to eat that food, you know. So it's just so much space for Kim to decide, I to decide. That's where the best part is. It's a form of self-love, I call it.
Wow, that's a deep way to put it in, but
Yeah.
it's really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Since you mentioned traveling, it seems like you really enjoy traveling alone. Would you say that you 100% prefer traveling alone versus traveling with friends or family?
If you mean if I have to choose?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a very harsh way to put it. I try to avoid doing that, and good thing is in life, we never have to force to either with myself or with others. We can always find time between the two. I believe there's no such thing we have to force. But if I have to choose, I'm self-centered. I just travel alone.
Would you encourage people to travel alone? Because you know a lot of people are scared to travel solo and travel alone. Because
I don't think scare. They just find it emotionally anxious for them to travel alone. I think the best part for the beginner who want to start traveling alone is that you just go to an area that you're so familiar with. Yeah, obviously you used to go with your family or friends or your colleague. Yeah. So and you like that area, let's say. Then you go there alone this time yourself. Do it at your own pace.
so, what are some other activities you enjoy doing alone?
I enjoy doing alone. Meditation, yes.
Wow, meditation.
Painting. Also some musical events that an arts event that I know for facts nobody want to go with me. It's just no choice. Have to go there with other or not. I just like it. I like it. I go for it. It just we are human beings. It's natural. We want to do something we like.
Do you ever feel like people stare at you in a weird way when you're alone? Let's say at a movie theater or at a music concert. Because usually people would go with friends or with someone.
Yeah, I got that face a lot. You know, the face. I call it the street face. The face like, oh, so sad. Why? You know. Or the other face. Oh, this guy's creepy. What does he want? Or the other face is like, he's not cool. I don't want to talk to him. I don't want to hang out with him. In fact, you know.
Yeah. So would you say it takes time to learn to enjoy being by yourself?
Yeah, it does actually.
Because I feel like a lot of people don't know how to be alone, and that's why they always want to be with someone else, like hanging out with friends and other people, just because they don't know how to enjoy time by themselves.
Yeah, everything is a pros and cons. You know, if you cannot do anything alone or travel alone or enjoy activity alone, something you really like. is that you either have to force yourself hang out with people you don't want to hang out with, or they don't want to hang out with you, or you end up doing something with people you like, but doing something you don't like. So there always the cons or the problem of really trying not to be alone.
That's nice. So you mentioned meditation as one of the activities you enjoy doing by yourself. Would you recommend doing meditation when you're in your late 20s or even younger than that?
I think it's the Dalai Lama did talk stuff like that. He's saying that if we teach our children meditation, we will eliminate war in less than a generation or two. I think better start as early as possible. There are two big problems nowadays with the current generation we are having is that kids get anxious nowadays, quick, impatient, impulsive, and also emotionally unstable. In fact, it's just a fact. We seen that. We seen the impact of social media. We see the impacts of, let's say, the use of pornography, video game. It just affects our mental and emotional healthness. And I think meditation should be a new form of exercise for us, not just for us as an adult, but for us as kids too.
Thank you so much, Kim, for
Okay. That's
everything.
a quick thank you. Okay.
So to wrap this up, what have you learned from your experiences being alone? Like, what's a valuable lesson that you've learned by spending time with yourself?
Spending time with myself.
Or from traveling alone?
First of all, guys, I have to make it clear. You should be alone when you want to be alone. If you're being forced to be alone, that's a serious other question. Sometimes the intention is very important. Sometimes don't go alone just because you want to prove yourself. Oh, look at me, I'm alone. But the irony here is the one who travel alone, they all put themselves on Instagram. So really, are you alone, man? That's the irony too. What I mean by if you want to travel alone or do something alone because you want to, because I'm being forced to be alone when I was a kid. In other words, I be honest, I was kind of outcast. I got bullied a lot in school too. In other words, I don't have much friend, and a lot of my activity is not, or places I like is not their thing too. So I'm kind of being forced to be alone. But does it change the fact that I like it? Yes, I like it a lot. But before, not really, not that much.
I see. So the fact that you were bullied in school and many other factors had nothing to do with you liking being alone, or it had a small impact, I would say.
Well, I'm being forced to be alone a lot. Therefore, I'm also more comfortable to be alone. But I'm just saying that if you want to be alone because you want to, let me be clear on that. Let's say you raise a kid, he want to play with kids. You can't just force him to be alone like that, He's gonna feel like you pretty much, put him in a prison without a wall.
So do you think parents should encourage their kids to spend time alone since they're young?
It can be very pros and cons at the same time. There are cases in Japan nowadays, they call it the cyber hermit syndrome. It's when the kids, they got addicted to video game and manga. They unable to socialize and they start blaming on their school for bully. I can do that too. They start blaming their parents not being a good parents. I can do that too. But I choose not. But they choose to do that, and then they end up stuck in this bad cycle, locking themselves in the room. That is a bad form of being alone, I would say. So parents, you have to be flexible. You observe when and how, rather than just has to be alone or not being alone. Sometimes parents force them not to be alone, to force them with kids, other kids doing activity they don't like. Then it's also bad.
So, in conclusion, we would say that alone and lonely are two completely different things.
Yes, can be two completely different things. Same thing with not being alone and still get lonely.
So, Kim, how old were you when you first traveled alone?
I think it's around 18, I guess. In fact, I did not travel alone. I live alone. In fact, I live in Singapore for 4 to 5 years alone.
And can you tell us a little bit more about your solo travels? Were you nervous the first time?
Nah. I think it's more like I have no choice. Either I stay at home, I don't like it, or I travel alone, or I dislike it less. How about that? I mean, when I started, I have a very low standard of expectation.
So, do you think it's good to have low expectations instead of high expectations once you start traveling alone?
Yeah. I think it's the Hollywood syndrome we are receiving when we watch movie about a guy who travel alone, find his true love. The thing of Titanic. What is the guy? The guy he travel alone on the ship. He found his love. On the iceberg. No, guys, really don't do that.
So, did you meet did you make any friends while you traveled alone?
That's the best part. Actually, I do make too many good friends when I'm traveling. Too many interesting people. I think it's just the fact that we are we're traveling. People just feel more open toward us. More interesting. And sometimes while we are being as a traveler, we just feel more inclined to be open in general. As a result of both sides being open, we can connect very fast, in fact. And there are cases when I met a few wonderful women in my life, and many of them turned out to be the best women of my life. And I tell you, traveling alone, it might not be Titanic, there's no iceberg, you still find your love sometime too.
Right. Because I think people, when they see you traveling alone, they automatically perceive you as an adventurous person, so they will be more open to talking to you and making conversation.
That's one of my best trip in Chiang Mai, for example. I was renting a dirt bike riding to the top of a mountain that day, a bit too daring, I must say. And then I came back and I see a bunch of Thai dirt biker, and they are former military personnel, commandos, and they was drinking on the street, and I just say, "Hi guys, how are you? Nice bike," and then they say, "Oh, let's drink," and then we drink so much we end up sleeping on the road, a bunch of 4 or 5 dirt biker.
So you've mentioned a lot of pros about traveling alone, but what are some of the cons of traveling alone?
Obviously, it's the safety, yeah. Second is the anxiety, because this is only enjoyable if you travel so much, you know what to do. It's like, let's say for me, before I'm traveling, I only need to pack like 10 minutes. I just pack my stuff so well that it's just so convenient. But when it's not so convenient, you have to have headaches all the time. The whole trip you won't enjoy. It's just a fact, guys. If you wanna go for it, better be good at it. Or else you have a few bad trips, you said you had enough. So let's talk some more. Gaby, how about you? Have you traveled alone?
Yes, I've traveled alone.
Tell me about your experience.
Well, I've mostly traveled alone around Europe, and I got to admit that the first time I was a bit scared because I usually travel with someone else, either my family or my sister or a friend. But I think it was a good experience. I think it also kind of helps you to grow up in a sense. You feel more mature, and also you don't have the pressure of your friends or your family telling you, let's go here, let's do this, let's do that, because you were mentioning the same thing, that you can do whatever you want, like, and take your own time to do stuff.
I agree. It's like I do it because I like it, I do it because I feel it, and nothing wrong with that, It's just so many space to be yourself, to do what you like. So have you walked to, let's say, Champs-Élysées, find any man, find any interesting friend, romantic love,
Well, I've made a lot of good friends.
Okay.
I would say my solo travels really gave me good friends that I know I'll have for the rest of my life. And thanks to traveling alone, I've made a lot of international friends as well. So, it's always good to have connections.
This type of friend, if we travel in a group, never had a chance to connect with them. thanks to solo traveling, for example, we just have so much more opportunity to connect with them.
Right, because when you travel with your friends or other people, you tend to just stick with them and just do everything together instead of, socializing with other people or trying to.
Yeah. Let's say one of my trip 5 years ago, I went from Bangkok, traveling in Bangkok, and then I came back to Cambodia, and then suddenly I met a Korean lady, and she invited me to travel to Vietnam with her. Then I came with her to Vietnam. But anyway, guys, the main point is that let's say I travel in the group, and I say I want to travel with her. My friend gonna think, oh, this guy Kim, he ditched us. There's stuff like that. Yeah, it's not gonna happen unless you travel alone. And guys, think of it. Just imagine yourself next 40 years, 50 years. What type of story are you gonna tell your grandchildren, really? What type of story before you tell people before you die, really? What is your story? I think solo traveling creates so much story for you. In the end, we not just want to live happily, we also want to live interestingly too.
Thank you so much, Kim. We loved having you in Bread Podcast with us today.
Yes, the podcast I do enjoy a lot, but I definitely do enjoy talking to you, Gaby.